All right, welcome back to Shameful Locks here. We're here to talk about some NFL Week 18. My name is Gabriel Costa. My co-host over here are on my left, right, not sure which where, Blake Profio, doing a TikTok dance over there. Welcome back. We've got some football to talk about, and not great for some of us last week. We're recording here on a Saturday. There's some good games tonight. Our Steelers are playing, and then so are the Texans and the Colts. It's basically a playoff game. And real quick before we get started, hold on. Let me take a drink from my cup here. Oh, that's nice. That's good. That's good. So for those of you who are unaware, I beat Blake in the fantasy football playoffs championship game this past weekend. It was the only thing I won that weekend. I had a terrible betting weekend, but we get a nice cool trophy out of it. So jot that down for the boys back at home.
Shout out Cole Kmet. I hate you. I lose by 5 points. I think about 5 points.
It was like 4.1.
Cole Kmet had 0 points. I heard that he played one snap and then didn't play the rest of the game. So That one's on you, Cole Kmet. If you hear this, you owe me like $100. So yeah, thanks. But at least Gabe won. I can respect that. It was a good game. A little sweaty for Gabe at the end there. Pacheco going crazy. But got second place. The first loser. But I'll take it.
Yeah, I really thought I was going to lose. I was up 31.5 going into the only player left on the day who was Pacheco. He scored like 28 points. It was insane. He was getting like 9 yards of carry, and then they kept throwing the ball. I'm like, thank God. Like I was just saying, we're not here to talk about our fantasy matchup. We're here to talk about betting. So let's move on to that now. I know I don't really want to talk about it because I'm absolutely cursed this year. I suck. I can't get anything to go through the hoop. I pick things that I feel like I would bet the house on them. I'm going to be honest, my last 2 bets, and I end up barely winning one of them. So it sucks for me right now. I'm cursed. I think last year Tim was cursed because he was the host of the show, and I think there is a curse on whoever hosts the show on this show here. But we'll start with Blake. We'll start with the good news. Blake, you had a pretty good week last week. You went 2-1, went up positive 0.85 units. First pick was Packers money line. They beat the shit out of the Vikings. Someone was saying Packers Super Bowl. Not really sure who that was about. I don't know who would say that, but yeah, Supreme Leader I think was mentioning something like Packers Super Bowl, but we'll see how that goes. Your player prop was Brandon Ayuk over 66.5 receiving yards. Sorry, I think he had like 114 or something like that. He crushed it. Real no sweat there for you. And then, unfortunately, your loss was your best bet. You had Chris Olave over 66.5 receiving yards. That did lose. I think he finished with like 17 yards or something like that, which is weird. Versus a Bucs secondary that sucks. They ran the ball.
Yeah, it was weird. They like never run the ball effectively, at least. But it was a winning week. I lost my shameful lock, but I will take the positive week and build off of that.
Yeah, that moves you all the way up to 30-23. You are plus 4.06 units on the year.
Hell yeah.
Must be nice. Unfortunately, I did go 1-2 last week. We'll recap my picks real quick. I had Rams minus 4.5. That was looking really good until about 3 minutes left in the game when Gunnar Olszewski, of all fucking people, came up and had a punt return touchdown to basically tie the game. Giants went for 2, which made it worse, and they didn't miss it. So then the Rams just knee out the clock. They won by 1. I mean, that sucked. I really thought that was a winner. My one I actually felt the least good about because it looked terrible until about minutes left in the game. Baker Mayfield, 2 passing touchdowns. He threw his second one to Blake's guy, Chris Godwin, which made it even worse, with like a minute 45 left in the game, and it was like a 60-yard touchdown. So he did end up cashing that. So, I won 1 bet.
Better than none.
Yeah, better than nothing because my lock of the week was I felt terrible about this. I did Christian McCaffrey over 87.5 rushing yards. He had 62 at halftime and then came out and ran once in the third, I believe, and got hurt. So I think he ended with like 64 yards or something like that. I think he hurt his heel or something like that. So I did unfortunately lose 0.85 units last week. I mean, you just can't make this up. I'm now sitting at negative 7.66 units, 22, 29, and 1 on the season. It's tough out here for the kid. Like I said, I think I'm cursed. I think I would need to win out to think about going positive. I'm just going to take any positive beats I can take at this point. Our joint touchdown parlay, which we don't count towards our records. I've been pretty cold recently. We've lost the last 3. We're now sitting at 4 and 7 on those. But again, I'll give us a good tally next week because this is the last regular season week this week. And we'll get us some numbers if you put $10 on each one of them and see how much you'd be up. Some season long bets. But next week might be a little bit of a longer show because we've got to talk about our season long bets. They're just starting to wrap up. All 3 of the people who have talked on this show have a season long bet that it will be determined in week 18. So that'll be good to see. Sweat out a little extra this weekend. See how those are going. Blake, you are now sitting at 8 and 5 on your Shameful Locks of the week, and I am now sitting at 6 and 7, 1 game below 500. Doesn't feel good. Let's just get this over with. Blake, you're up.
Okay. We'll jump right into it. Time to saddle back up. I'm going to start with my player prop, and that player prop is CJ Stroud over 257.5 passing yards, and I got that at minus 115 on ESPN Bet. So this game is later on tonight, and it's obviously basically a playoff game. You know, they're fighting for rights to get into the playoffs. I really think the Texans are going to stick to their strengths with passing the football. I mean, he's been really good all year. He'll probably win Offensive Rookie of the Year. In their matchup in week 2, CJ had 384 passing yards against the Colts. Colts in a loss where they only put up 20 points. CJ has gone over this mark in 8 of 14 games. And in one of those games where he didn't hit it, he got a concussion and left the game early. So if you look at his season as a whole, he's averaging 274 pass yards a game. And if you take out that game that he got injured with concussion, he's averaging 288 a game. So theoretically, he should crush this. But I saw a stat this morning saying 99% of the money is on that over mark. So if you know me, that does scare me a little bit. But I have a lot of faith in CJ. I think that the Colts are going to win this game, but I think CJ will beat this mark pretty easily.
Yeah, I don't like to hear that you think the Colts are going to win that, but
you're not going to like a couple of my picks this week, so I apologize for that. Even though that's not one of my pick, that is one of my predictions.
Yeah, I know. And honestly, it's not bad to go against what I think right now. I'll be honest with you. It's probably the smart play. You're probably on the right side of history right now, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I like that pick. Love CJ. Might talk about that game here in a minute. We'll find out. My player prop I'm going with this week is James Conner over 71.5 rushing yards. I got that at minus 110 on ESPN Bet. James Conner's been a beast the last 4 games. He has cleared this mark in 3 of the last 4. He gets a great matchup this week against the Seahawks at home for the Cardinals. And the Seahawks do not – they suck at protecting against the run. They have a really bad rush D, and they have allowed starting running backs to clear this line of 71.5 in 6 of the last 7 games that the Seahawks have played. The only miss was Tony Pollard that week where Blake used him as his lock to go under 67.5, and he finished at 68. But again, he was right there. Brutal. Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up like that. But yeah, running backs have been crushing the Seahawks of recently, and I think James Conner is going to keep it up this week.
Yeah, I mean, we just watched the Steelers run all over the Seahawks. I think both Jalen and Najee beat that mark.
They did.
Yeah, their run defense sucks. And I mean, the Arizona Cardinals are playing really good football right now. They just beat the Eagles. They're a hot football team right now.
Yeah, I really like Conner this week.
Okay, so going on to my game pick. Sorry in advance, Gabe. You're not going to like this just due to your season-long bet. So initially, I wanted to take Dolphins money line, but I'm staying away from that game. I don't know what's going to happen. Dolphins have a lot of injuries, but I'm taking the Tennessee Titans money line versus the Jaguars, and I got that at plus 170 on ESPN Bet. So let's go all the way back to week 5. Okay. Week 5, the Jaguars roll into Pittsburgh and they beat the Steelers 20-10. But the biggest takeaway from that game is the Jaguars disrespected the terrible towel. And that is one thing you just can't do. Ask the Bengals, ask the Titans, ask the, I think, 49ers. I mean, that is just one thing you don't do. So, the terrible towel curse is a real thing, and it's going to strike the Jaguars because they really suck right now, and they're going to lose this game, and they're going to miss the playoffs, and the Steelers are going to make the playoffs. So, you don't mess with the terrible
Wow.
towel. Give me the Tennessee Titans money line versus the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence, you're going down, buddy. That's all I got to say. Sorry, Gabe.
That sucks for me. As for some of you may know, one of my season long bets is it can't possibly win, but it can finish at a push right now. I did Jags over 10 wins. They're sitting at 9. I need them to win one more game to get a push on one of my season long bets. Just that stinks. I mean, I don't like to root against you, but I feel like I kind of have to here. Again, it would honestly help our team, the Steelers, if they did end up losing, but like I said, you're probably on the right side of history right now. I can't catch any fire right now. This is the only thing I've got right now, so I just got to hold it on for dear life right now.
This could be your week, man. You never know.
I need it in the worst way.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go to my game pick this week, and this week I am going to a game that you just mentioned, the Texans. I am taking Texans minus 2.5 at plus 110 on Bet365. This isn't the regular line. I think the regular line's 1.5, depending on the book you have. But I'm taking an alt line here because I wanted the plus money. The Texans are playing against the Colts in what is essentially a playoff game tonight here on Saturday night. It is at Colts, and I think both of these teams are pretty good. I'd say they're pretty even, I'm going to be honest. I could see this being a really close game, but I think it's going to come down to a late second score. Texans win. Probably a field goal would be ideal. That's why I'm taking 2.5. But I'm just going to take the better quarterback here. I think the Texans got a better quarterback. I think like I said, I think both these teams are even. But when things come down and tight at the end of the game, who do you trust more with the ball, Gardner Minshew or C.J. Stroud? Give me C.J. Stroud. I'm literally just taking this based off who was the better quarterback.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the only reason I really said Colts was because they're home, and I feel like generally they play much better at home than on the road. But
They do.
I could really see this game ending, like you said, in a field goal, like last second. Bunch of drama. The NFL loves the drama. But yeah, CJ is clearly the better quarterback, and hopefully he has a really good game and throws for a lot of yards. So hopefully, hopefully they win just because CJ. I think we're both fans of him though. So
Yeah, looking for I'm going to throw a score out there. 34-31 Texans. Both quarterbacks throw for 300.
all right, write that down. Write that down. Okay.
Going to be a 10-7 game.
Texans field goal. I wrote it down. Don't worry.
Appreciate that.
All right. Good
Lock time.
Shameful lock time. Hopefully we both hit these. Our favorite bets of the week. So I'm going to go back to that Seattle game, and I'm going to take the opposite running back, Kenneth Walker, to go over 56.5 rushing yards, and I got that at minus 110 on DraftKings. So Walker only averages 59 rush yards a game, which is kind of weird because you think he'd average more just because of how good of a running back he is. But the Arizona rush defense is really bad, just like the Seahawks, and they give up 120 yards a game to running backs, which I think is the most in the league. So in their first matchup, Walker had 26 carries for 105 yards. So I expect him to get a ton of carries. I expect him to carry that team because I don't think Geno is that great. He can make those routine plays, but I don't know if he can carry them to victory. But in 3 games against the Cardinals, Kenneth Walker averages 24 carries and 103 rush yards. So I mean, they got the weakness of the Arizona Cardinals down, and they attack it with Kenneth Walker. So I think this line is pretty low considering how good he's played against the Cardinals, and I expect him to kill it. So
Yeah. I think that line's a little low for Kenneth Walker, I'm gonna be honest with you. But yeah, I hopefully he hits that mark, and I like that pick. All right, I'll hop over to my shameful lock of the week, which unfortunately I need the win this week. I want to finish above 500 on these, just because these are supposed to be my favorite bet of the week. I'm sitting at 6 and 7. I need one more to get up to 500. We'll continue to do these through the playoffs too, so I don't think we're going anywhere. But I'm going back to the only guy who came through for me last week. I'm taking Baker Mayfield 2+ passing touchdowns again. I got this at plus 120 at Bet365. I mean, when shit's not going right for you, just go back to what works, you know? So Baker gets a pretty good matchup this week against Carolina. They're at Carolina. And this is one of the few games this week where a lot of people, they're not going to have anybody resting. Carolina needs to see who's worth keeping next year. And the Bucks need to win the division, the NFC South. So nobody will be pulling any punches in this game. It should be competitive in the sense where the Bucks are still trying and need to score as many points as possible to ensure that they claim their division. Like I said last week, the Bucks are not great at running the ball. They do a lot of their offense through Baker, and especially when they get inside the 10, they still don't run the ball. They do a wide receiver fade to Mike Evans or something like that, or a wide receiver screen or a slant or something like that. Baker has cleared this line at 8 of his last 10 games. Look for Baker to keep it up. That's all I got to say here. Like I said, I don't think the Bucks are going to run the ball. Panthers have a good run defense. All signs are pointing to Baker to keep throwing the ball in a game where nobody's going to be holding punches.
yeah, I think Bucks are going to stick to what's working with Baker throwing the ball. Their rush offense is not really existent. They pretty much live their offense through Mike Evans. So I expect him and Godwin to get a bunch of catches and hopefully touchdowns. So you can go 500 on your shameful locks. So I do like that pick.
Need it. I need it. Sorry, I'm looking up a stat here real quick for our anytime touchdown. All right, cool. Anytime touchdown time. These are just our joint TD parlays. We both pick one guy to score a touchdown. We haven't been doing too well on these recently, but like I said, if you had been tailing every single one of these, you should be up money if you're putting $10 on every single one. We're 4 and 7. I'm going to start on this one, and I'm taking Tyler Lockett to score an anytime touchdown. And I'm not the biggest Tyler Lockett fan, but I read this stat here, and it just was too good to pass up. Seahawks Tyler Lockett has scored a TD in the final regular season game in each of the last 5 seasons, going back to 2018. It just screams that it's going to happen. Seahawks need to win. They are not in a game where anyone should be pulling any punches. I think they need a win and some help to get into the playoffs. So they're not going to be resting anybody. They're going to be trying to beat the Cardinals, who have been a lot better than the record says of late.
Yeah, you sent that stat like I think a day or two ago, and it's pretty crazy. I mean, that's one of those things where hopefully the trend continues and he gets that touchdown, and then that last game touchdown continues to keep going for him. So for my touchdown prop, I'm gonna go Joe Mixon. Browns are gonna be resting starters. I don't like Joe Mixon, but I saw he needs like one more touchdown to get some type of bonus, like 250K or 500K. So I'm assuming that they'll want to get him that bonus, just because they have nothing to really play for. They're out of playoff contention. So yeah, I'm not sure what the total odds we got on that were, Gabe.
It was 413 on FanDuel. A lot of books are being really stupid right now and not releasing lines for a lot of games where I guess then they don't necessarily know who's guaranteed to start. For example, the Bengals-Browns game. I know the Browns, since they already clinched a playoff spot, they can't go up or down. They're pretty much resting a lot of their starters, and because they have the injury bug year round, I guess it makes sense. But I did read that the Bengals are going to make sure that they play a lot of starters this week. They're still going to take this game seriously because it's the Battle of Ohio, obviously.
Oh yeah, so yeah, plus 413. It's pretty good odds. Throw a quick tenner on that. Hopefully it hits, since we're kind of overdue here. So yeah, it's all. What do you think, Gabe? Any closing remarks?
Yeah, like I said, we need that one. It probably wouldn't be the worst idea ever to fade me. Again, I give my best data and my actual thoughts on my picks, so I'll let you decide there. But this is the final week of the regular season. It's been an eventful season for some of us. We're not going anywhere. We'll still be here for the remainder of the season. For the playoffs, we'll come out and give a video for picks. I think we said we're going to do 3 picks in the next 2 weeks for the playoffs. And then when we get down to the divisional round, we'll probably drop down to 2 and then 2 for the Super Bowl. We'll probably do some, like I said, next week will be a little bit of a longer episode because we got some recapping to do for the season long picks. And then I think we said we're going to try and each pick a Super Bowl champion, maybe a matchup or whatever, just something a little fun there.
Yeah, man, that's hopefully we get these wins this week and then go into the playoffs with some good positive momentum.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, hopefully we end the regular season here on a positive note. Thanks for watching and sticking with us for the regular season, even if some of us are performing below the standard. Appreciate it, guys, and thanks as always for watching.